Well, I decided one more video for the day. I did go back and look at some videos, the latest and greatest on there for. I happen to do most of the looking up in North Carolina. It's actually where my stepmother is from, is North Carolina up there. She lived on the east side of the mountains, the foothills. Some of the, looks like the worst devastation was more on the west side. I did look at a video about Chimney Rock up there, and it was pretty well devastated. It looks pretty much like it just pretty well wiped out. There was a young couple that was being interviewed up there by a guy that was doing like a newsreel type video, and they heard some snapping and popping and things like that to their house, and realized that the water had got up there. And I mean, that's a pretty good distance up from the river to their house there. And they decided to move some of their stuff, whatever they could, over to the post office. There was another couple, I guess, over there that were also moving their stuff in there. They figured that was the safest place. It was on the other side of the road, away from where it was being washed out by the river there. And they heard a whoosh sound, and a mudslide came down and took part of that post office away. And they'd already put their cat and kitten, and, a young kitten and an adult cat, and their dog in there, up there. And they rushed back over there because they thought, oh boy, that they probably lost their pets and everything else. But they didn't. The pets were still alive, and they knew they couldn't. They weren't going to be taking anything more out of their house. I guess I think it was raining at the time yet. And they headed up the mountain, and let's see, they went 3 different cabins, believe it or not, on their way up there, trying to see what they could do at each cabin. The second cabin, they were going to stay on the porch, and it started washing away. So they went on up to the next one, and it had a screened-in porch on it. They spent the night there in the screened-in porch. Next morning, they came down to see what was left. Their house, one side of it was, part of it was opened up, and you could see where the water rushed in. It was probably to the top of the windows, blew out the river side of the house. You could actually step out there, it was wide open on that side. I think their furniture was gone, obviously, it bursted out. And they were back there, and I think it was yesterday when they were trying to clear stuff out, get their personal goods, what was left. The streets were being cleaned up. There was an excavator out there, and there was a guy in a skid loader. A guy in a skid loader had told them that there was only one person that they're aware of that had perished. There was no bodies laying around, no odor or anything like that. There's a lot of rumors going around about people are they're expanding on the truth quite a bit, making it look worse than it really is. And that kind of was the general consensus, although they're not kidding about towns being wiped out. I've seen a lot of photos of the devastation where between landslides and the water itself, it wiped out everything that got in its way on the way down the mountainsides. Anything that had a small creek or river or anything like that, they filled to their brim and over. And I mean, we're talking 20 feet beyond, up in the air. It takes a pretty wide path, and there's things are just gone. It was twisting steel like it was nothing. Some big, heavy girders that were just twisted. It just hard to imagine the power, hydraulic power from the water coming down that mountain. A lot of the roads were washed out, mud everywhere. These people were busy trying to get the streets cleaned up there in what's left of that town of Chimney Rock. And wasn't very many people up there, quite frankly. I think there was a police officer and maybe a guard, somebody from the, I don't know if the National Guard or troops anyway, that were sent down there from, the president sent down there to help in the cleanup process, apparently, or guarding the private goods of people down there. It's not as, I keep trying to say it's not as bad as it was being depicted, but it depends on what part of the state you're in and how close you are to some of the rivers as to the damage. There's a lot of landslides up down the side of those mountains. It got saturated. On my stepmother's side of the mountain, not as much. I mean, the rivers, obviously, they overflowed. The little town that she was from, there was a little bit of mud, but for the most part, they're up and running. I guess it kind of the luck of the draw. It wasn't so bad that the town couldn't recover fairly quickly. So I haven't talked to her yet, but other than that, I can't think of too much. I mean, when I talked about the FEMA, there's a lot of finger pointing going on, a lot of blame for why it doesn't have the funding to help out like it should. People are having trouble making out the forms. They're somewhat complicated. It's electronic forms as well, and some people, they don't have the tech savvy to be able to fill them out. Somebody has to do it for them. Trying to get available people that can do that for them. A lot of them said they were denied. If you don't fit the profile and if you have insurance, I guess you're not qualified for help from FEMA. But that doesn't help the immediate need. It just don't figure for me. If we have these emergency things, so many things take days, weeks, and months before you can get help, no matter how well you're insured. And we all have faith in our government saying, hey, when you need help, we're there. And it's just not completely true. I don't know what to think of the whole mess. I guess it's not really what I thought it should be. But it's been that way for years, I guess. It's nothing new. If I was running a country, which I'm not, I would have more faith in the military to come in and take care of something like that. I know what the military is capable of on rebuilding or putting roads in, airstrips in, even putting a pad in for a helicopter would be done in, less than an hour. Just all kinds of stuff that can be done. The military can come in and put roads back together so quick. These are highly trained men that are extremely capable. With their MOS, what they've been trained in is, I don't think the military's changed that much. It's been a long time ago since I was in the service. It's been 60 years ago, so I don't know what's changed in 60 years. There's probably some of you out there, well, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there know more than I do about the military at this point. From what I've seen when I was in, though, the skills that the military had were very good, as good as any top-notch civilian crew that I'd been around. In the later years, I worked construction, but I really appreciated when The Army is a coordinated effort to accomplish a task. And each person, it moves towards that task with every intent of completing it on time and completing it well. I mean, that's what I see. And when you have a devastation like what happened out there on the East Coast, from Florida all the way up into North Carolina, and there's other places a little bit above that had some devastation from flooding as well. The Army, or you have the combat engineers in the Army that are skilled for it, and in the Navy you have the Seabees that are very capable. I mean, these people could build towns in a week, 2 weeks. What I was surprised at is, here's all these people out there that don't have a roof over their head, and I didn't see tents being put up. When we bivouacked, we would have a tent up in no time, and I'm talking no time, big tents, and the cots, and make it very livable. When evening hit, I mean, our foxholes were dug, the tents were up if we had an area for the bivouac. The kitchens were set up. We had a hot meal that same day. I mean, we could live out there forever with what we had. And I know that those temporary quarters could be put up for these civilians out there, and they wouldn't mind it at all. It's better than nothing, a lot better. You get kind of a cosmoline smell out of that stuff, but then that goes away real quick. Your senses kind of ignore it after an hour or two. And the kitchens, when I was in the service, we had great food. I don't think it could have changed that much. If we can feed 10 million or more immigrants, we could certainly go out there on that East Coast and set up tent cities and feed those people until we can get things fixed up enough where they can get back on their feet. And we could have in less than a week a place for everybody to live just by using our military to build some of these tent cities, set up sanitation facilities. I mean, we set up for thousands of people during trainings and stuff. And FEMA comes along, and they're going to help coordinate things. And they certainly, it's better having them than nothing. Okay. When I looked up there in those areas way back, it looked like, individuals that lived around there were probably doing the bulk of the work at that point. I realized that FEMA needs a pat on the back because they're trying. But I can understand where in a situation like that, the military could do it much better, quicker, and it would be equitable for all those people around there. And you'd never have to worry with the service in the area about looting or other things going on. They can very quickly keep things on an even keel. But that's just my opinion. I've seen what can be done, and when I look out there what's being done, it's going to get there. It's going to be a slow process. Some of them towns never will recover again. That's going to be a fact. I don't know where those people, a lot of them, where they're going to move away. Boy, I just don't know what's going to happen. And with that, I did do a little checking on about open borders. I'd made a statement, and somebody took issue with it and said there's a lot of countries that have open borders. And really, it's just a matter of words. When I'm talking about an open border, I'm talking about a border without restrictions. And there, I put it in Google, and I said, are there countries out there that have borders without restrictions for immigrants? And it said none. None. That was at the very top, big bold letters. None. There are a lot of places where you can walk across the border without being stopped. But none of them treat their people like we do immigrants in our country that are illegal. And in fact, these people are handed out quite a bit of money. The average was over $8,000 each for the ones that have come across in the last 3.5 years. That means some of those may be getting a much larger part, and this last year, maybe less. And I don't know how they come up with that figure, because those rooms they were staying in New York up there cost a lot more than that. And the foods were not cheap. So somewhere somebody's maybe imaginary figures. I don't know. I can't tell you one way or the other was really true or not, but think about it, folks. If they're only spending $8,000, how are they doing that? I can't even feed myself in a year for probably $8,000, I don't think. Maybe. It'd be close. I know my wife and I, we're not that big of eaters, and between the two of us, we spend, I guess, maybe $8,000-9,000, and then we cook it ourselves. It's not meals out like you would be as an immigrant. Most of your meals are going to be packaged and brought in. So, there's somebody sliding their pencil in a different direction. What else have I got today? Oh, shout out to two Lees in a pod. Lees is F-L-E-E''S. Looking forward to tonight's chat. See what's up. I don't know if it's too early for the royal flush or not. It'd be nice if we got the royal flush tonight, but we'll see. Milltown's best, Super Dave. Shout out to you. Up and coming reporter, and boy, does he do a good job on his channel. He's full of piss and vinegar, sparkly eyes, and brand new equipment that he's trying out. So give him a shout. Get out there and check him out. Robbie out there. Yeah, he's got a channel, and he's got some activities this weekend. I don't know if he'll actually do anything on the channel tonight with two Lees in a pod. Psychobabble rapper. Shout out to you. I hope your brother is doing fine. My prayers go out to both of you. I know it's a trying time for you. Oh, Bruce. Thank goodness for you, Bruce, for joining the group, helping out. You've gained some followers and friends on your behalf for the things that you're doing out there. Hopefully, we'll see you tonight on the two Lees in a pod. Always enjoy listening to you. You have some knowledge that is helpful, and it's a good thing you're around. You're an asset to the group for sure. Oh my goodness. And we got Tori out there and Lisa that keep the station going. Kendra, she is part of the group, and right now she's doing some other things. She'll be back in the group soon. She was on there a couple of times in the last week. I haven't seen as much of her. I haven't been watching the stations that long, but once I started listening to them, got hooked on it. Of course, I started getting tired when it gets around midnight. So I finished in the morning. I just figure out where I'm at. That morning I pick back up and listen to the balance of the, and these are live shows that they do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, and today will be tonight will be a live show. You'll be able to get in the chat, do your thing. Who else we got out there? There's so many that are helping out right now. Helping Miss Preston and Mr. Cook, and of course Haley. Sweet little girl is going to get the chance to have a great Christmas this year. Through the goodness of a lot of people out there that have rallied behind her. They know her story, and they're assisting in trying to pick her up and let her know how important she is to this country, the world, and everything else. One of God's children for sure. She's had a chance at life from, she's had a metabolic disease that takes 24/7, round the clock, pretty much scrutiny or care, and her mother does that pretty much on her own, and we're trying to help her out. Lots of prayers, power of prayer, right? And some donations have made that possible. Other than that, I don't know what else I can talk about. I mean, I'm done for the day. I'm a little tired. Let's see what we can. Oh, may the Lord bless all of you out there, and come on back when you get a chance. You can put thumbs up, thumbs down. If you want to sub to my channel, you're sure welcome to. I don't have merch. I don't do anything to make money. When you see a advertisement here, that's strictly an advertisement from YouTube. I don't get so much as a penny for when I'm on here. I don't want to be obligated, and that's one of the reasons I haven't monetized it. I just want to do it because I enjoy doing it. That's it, in a nutshell. And I got wrapped up in something that sometimes I think I'd have been better off not being involved in, but other people have took up the flag and the cause, and a lot of them were there before I started looking at it. And I am so glad that I found those channels to follow, and the professionalism that they show is something to be desired by most of us out there that run a channel where we try to give information or the latest news. Sometimes we teach a little history. Some of us try to sing once in a while, and I notice I said try. And what else do we do? If you go to Millstown Best, you'll see he's got some songs on there that are very professional. So give him a shout. Go out there, tell him I sent you. And those other channels, you get a chance, go ahead and sub to them. You'll find out that it's worth being notified when there's something going on. And with that, I see you later. Bye.